Welcome all to Chasing Tens. My name is Abhi. Thank you so much for joining me, guys, to this part 3, which is day 3 of the Aragon Trackday series with No Limits Trackday. So let's straight away start with what happened straight away after day 2. So after day 2, everyone goes back to the hotel. It's a lovely hotel, which is 10 minutes from the track, and we all chill out in the bar area. And then, there is a lovely dining area as well. This time we chose to go into the dining area and we had some lovely food. Now, we didn't discuss too much about my bike issue. So if you've not been following part 1 and 2, I've got a bike issue. I haven't got a lot of horsepower. I'm stuck around 151 horsepower. I know this figure and I'll tell you that in a minute. And I've got quick shifter issues as well. So without any music or any kind of drone footage, let's take you straight to the track. And straight away, we plug the bike in to the laptop. So lovely Mihao, great friend, and he's very techie as well. He plugs the bike in. We have absolutely zero errors on the bike. We calibrated the throttle. Everything looks okay, no errors. So we're now thinking it must be something mechanical. And then suddenly I'm thinking, you know what? It could be the exhaust servo valve flappy thing. Now that's given me a problem lately. Just before the Ascent track day, if you remember, I went to TBR Performance and Matt, Ren and Gareth put my bike on the dyno, and as soon as they were just doing a normal dyno run just to see if the bike is running okay, we were stuck at 151 horsepower, and at 11,000 revs onwards I had no power. So same thing here. I had no power after 11,000 revs. The bike would go after 11,000 revs, but the speedometer would be dead slow because the exhaust gases cannot flow out. And then we had the figure on the screen and we were scratching our heads why we've got 151 horsepower. And after doing a lot of kind of rigmaroles and stuff like that, we found that the lock wire, which was holding the exhaust valve opened. So basically all the motors of these exhaust valves have been taken out. The exhaust valve is open like this. If I accelerate the bike really hard, it closes. So to keep it open, we lock wire it. So just before the Ascent trip, the lock wire was loose.
Okay, loose? Loose is loose, huh? Absolutely loose is loose.
And that's why on the dyno, the exhaust valve was closing. Same thing here, which was happening in Aragon. We looked at the lock wire at Aragon and the lock wire was this time broken. So at least we kind of knew that this was the problem. So lovely friend again, lovely Polish dude living in sunny Spain, Jarek. He is very good with his hands, literally with the bike. And he took my exhaust out, slip-on out, and we got to the exhaust valve. He triple lock wired the exhaust valve, so now it's absolutely dead straight like this. And during this winter I'm going to probably get that removed and weld, because if you remove that you'll have 2 big holes in the exhaust, and then you've got to fill these holes with some molten metal or something like that, which is above me, that stuff. So I'll get that sorted with I don't know, some exhaust company. Anyway, so we put everything back on and I only had 2 minutes left to go out of the first session. I managed to get out and I get 1 lap under my belt. And in that 1 lap, all I wanted, there was no camera on the bike. All I wanted to see if I've got the top speed. I had the top speed. I had the quick shifter back. The bike was singing, no issues whatsoever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a mediocre lap. Welcome back, guys. So something I have to say to you which is very, very important. Now, session 1 was obsolete because I just went out for one lap, make sure everything was okay. Session 2, again, I was kind of not tootling around, but going at decent pace, but I wasn't quicker than 2 minute 12, which was my best time from day 2. And same thing happened with session 3 as well. I wasn't quicker than 2 minute 12. So it's not like I'm in a mental zone again. I'm in all that mental hole, and which I talked about in part 2. All what's happened is I've got this extra 26 horsepower back. All my braking markers have changed because I've got more power. I'm accelerating harder. I don't have to switch off my throttle completely and on again and accelerate again, which disturbs the bike sometimes mid-corner as well. Mid-corner, I can carry more speed now because, again, I don't have to blip with my hand. And normally when you have a bike with no quick shifter, you can just blip it slightly, or sometimes don't blip it and it'll upshift. Because I had this exhaust valve issue, I had to completely close the throttle and accelerate again. That's what I've been doing day 1 and day 2. So now everything is changed. I just have to now recalibrate my brain to these new braking markers I've got now and stuff like this. So that's why I was little bit slower. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you now a lap from the second last session of the day. So let me now show you some lunchtime footage. I'm going to show you 2 lots of lunchtime footage. This is broken into 2 parts because I do like to show other people and their bikes in my videos. What's the point of just me showing you my bike and not of everyone else which was around, especially those people who are now sitting in this depressing January weather, very cold weather in the UK, and if they spot themselves on there in this sunny weather on their lovely bike, I think they'll make them smile. So enjoy this. Welcome back everyone. Now I must answer some questions before I show you any more laps. I've had some questions from people. I didn't answer many in part 1 and 2 because they were going more than 30 minutes. This will go way more than 30 minutes, I can assure you. But anyways, I've had some questions from people outside the UK who are very curious how we transport these bikes from UK to these amazing destinations in Europe. Now, I'm going to start by saying that we are quite lucky to be living in this amazing country, United Kingdom. People are absolutely crazy about motorsport in general. Classic racing, bike racing. 80% of the Formula 1 teams are based here. Le Mans teams, you name it. You know, it's just amazing. So, because there's so much love for motorsport, track days, so you get a lot of people asking for track days. So we have a few track day companies who collaborate with amazing logistical companies, truck companies, and these track day companies have their hubs in different parts of the UK. So we take our bikes there, we put our bikes in these metal stillages. It's like a Tetris situation. So one bike goes like this, other bike goes like this, and then we put all our stuff, so extra tires, tools, you can put your leathers on in there, a chair, a table, folding table, all sorts. You can, whatever you want to put, you have to declare that all because of Brexit and everything to the track day company. But you put all that in this stillage. You cover your bike with a nice cover. I've got a lovely cover from SCMOTO.co.uk. I must mention their name because they are a bunch of hard-working people in the Midlands. They made this really snuggy cover for the bike, and I love it. And it, you know, the bike doesn't get damaged at all. And then we kind of cover the whole stillage and the two bikes and everything with this kind of big commercial cling film thing, and the bikes, and then we go home and the bikes go to these European destinations, and all we do is turn up to the track with a small briefcase with some clothing and toothbrush and all sorts. Some more questions I've had from a lovely chap called Samuel Chambers, and his mates are going to Aragon very soon. So hello Samuel and your mates. Some questions he's mentioned. Can you get to the circuit a day before the track day to kind of take your bikes out of these stillages and put them in the garages? So in part 1 I showed you a brief snippet of early hours of the morning, us taking the bikes off the stillages. Now the clue is in that thing, so early hours of the morning. So you're not allowed to go in the evening time to unwrap the bikes. And I mean, if it's a special thing, the track day company will tell you that you can go, but most of the time, 90% of the times, especially with Aragon, especially with these MotoGP circuits, you know, Jerez, Aragon, Portimao, it's normally the next day. Can you take your bike with some fuel in it? If your bike's got a little bit of fuel in it, you're okay, but don't fill your bike deliberately to the brim and put it in the stillage. It's not advisable, it's frowned upon. Will they provide the fuel cans? Yes, No Limits Trackdays, they provide you with a fuel can, and it's €5 for the fuel can. It's non-refundable. You get the fuel can, you use it, you give it back, you don't get your €5 back. It's one of those things, it's fine. So, and the carnet situation, so that's a big question. Since Brexit, you have to declare everything, what's in that metal stillage. So the track day company will email you 2 weeks before or a week before on an email to fill a form with whatever you put in that stillage, your bike's chassis number, and your stuff, toolbox and everything. You just have to declare on that. So yes, so I thought I answer all these questions. Now next session is going to be, maybe I'll show you 2 laps. This is my friend again, Tim is pulling me along, and I think we gained 2 seconds there from a 2:11 to a 2:09 if I'm not wrong, or a 2:10 I think. So I'll show you 2 laps from this one, and I'll come back shortly. Okay, welcome back, guys. So we are moving ahead with lap times. Things are getting faster and faster. Next thing which I wanted to discuss with you is the layout of the circuit. It is a modern circuit. It's an epic circuit. You've got amazing facilities there. It's a MotoGP circuit. It's a World Superbike circuit. Even though it's in a deserty area in Spain, the flora and fauna, the landscape is epic. You've got lagoons, like blue water. You've got some really kind of Martian land kind of stuff. You've got some amazing kind of landscape around this racetrack. So it does get colder in the evening compared to the morning. It does get slightly windier as well. The track is up and down. There are 10 left corners, so it's an anti-clockwise circuit. So like I said in part 2, if you've got some used tires, you can bring them here, because the left side of the circuit, left side of the tire does get used here. It's anti-clockwise. And there are some 4 really good places to overtake. And after the long straight, you've got a really brave left-hand turn. It's like a double apex turn. It's beautiful. It's juicy. If you're brave, overtaking there is epic. Then, you got to look at some things like turn 1. I'm not doing a track guide. I'm not qualified enough to do a track guide. Just mentioning 1 or 2 things. So turn 1, you have to sacrifice the kind of turn 1 corner to really get a good exit at corner 2. And then you have to give a lot of commitment to corner 3 and 4. You carry a lot of speed through the bends. And this is the main theme of this racetrack. You are upshifting while on decent bend on this track quite a lot. So you are on the lean and you are accelerating hard and you are upshifting. Sometimes you are short shifting and then accelerating really hard. So it's a characterful track. One of the most important things about this racetrack, which is most beautiful I find, is the runoff areas are probably the best. I'll show you some footage now of me going off. When you run off this racetrack, you have amazing kind of service roads to come back onto the track very safely. And most importantly, in part 1, I showed you a snippet of the presentation. Not presentation, the briefing, which looked like a media conference / presentation. It was probably the best briefing I've ever been to on a racetrack. And I've done Portimao, I've done Jerez, I've done Almeria, I've done Andalusia, I've done a lot of UK circuits. This briefing by the staff of Aragon with a projector, slideshow, videos, it was epic. It's on their YouTube channel as well, this briefing. It shows you exactly where to go when you outbrake yourself. And you will outbrake yourself because there are some really blind corners at 1 or 2 places. But the main thing is, rather than you ending up in the gravel, you will go off into a service road, and it's beautiful service road, and it's wonderfully, you can join the circuit back in.